The only movie I own debuted in 1979, and it was a movie that featured 4 high school graduates. It's a coming-of-age, underdog takes-all movie entitled Breaking Away. And like Mark, it involves cyclists, and the protagonist, Dave Stoller in the movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's tremendous. But Dave Stoller's a bicyclist, and he owns a Masi. Now, a Masi probably means nothing to you, but made in Torino, Italy, and in fire red with chrome forks and a chainstay. It is a beautiful, exquisite Italian-made bicycle. It is basically the Lamborghini of cycles, except instead of costing $60,000, $80,000 or whatever it may have cost, it costs less than $1,000. And I, too, had designs on a Ferrari or Lamborghini, so I went to a guy named Rodney Mosman. Doesn't have quite the same cachet as Masi from Torino, Italy. And in fact, Rodney was based in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, but he made bespoke bicycles. He measured you. He made it out of wonderful Italian tubing, and it was a gorgeous bike. And I was a much younger man than today, but my Mosman has served me well. Recently, I bought a ticket to ride. It cost me, in terms of dollars, about $500 in a contribution in hotels. And it cost me, in terms of effort, substantially, because I raised about $3,000 for a nonprofit out of New Jersey that I had never heard about until riding with a recent or a newly acquired friend of mine. He told me about this fantastic ride that's 500 miles. And it benefits a home for runaways that was founded about 50 years ago by a then 21-year-old young man who was elected to the Trenton City Council and formed this fantastic home that really took care of people that had nowhere. And of course, that to me was a little bit secondary because I was interested in showing off my 72-year-old legs and showing that I was still good on this Mosman, even though the engine is a little bit more sluggish than it was 40-some years ago when I bought it. But I was all excited and in, and I paid my ticket, and I rode. Now, this ride began in Northampton, Massachusetts. We rode to Lenox, Massachusetts. We went south to Kingston, New York. We went from there to Matamoros, Pennsylvania, to Lebanon, New Jersey, and to Trenton. And I finished this 2 days ago. So it's recent. I had forgotten until the last 10 miles the significance of this ride. And the last 10 miles, well, but, you know, I mean, we were doing 75, 80 a day. We were doing hard rides up unbelievable hills. And yet, at the end of every day, you can imagine the satisfaction and the fun and all of that. But the last 10 miles, we were escorted into Trenton by a police motorcade, 2 by 2. We were given special shirts to wear in. And along the way, people were cheering for what we had done, what they had done with their contributions. We arrived at a mall outside of Trenton, and it was there that I remembered that my friend had told me he had never done this before where he did not have damp eyes. Now, my friend this was his 19th year, and about everybody I rode with had done it 10, 15, 30. There were people that had ridden this ride for almost 40 years. And indeed, as we arrived at this mall, they lined us up, and then one by one, we went into the mall, down the center aisle between the shops, to thunderous applause, eyes wet, and I finished my ride.